Angela Bishop has just touched down from LA. Great to have you back in the studio, Ange. Now, while you were in Los Angeles, you had a special sit-down interview.
Yeah, I did, Narelda. As you know, I popped in to see the gang from The Bold and the Beautiful while I was in LA, and as always, it was great to see them. But this time, we had a bigger story to tell. John McCook, who plays Eric Forrester on the hit soap, invited me into his home so that his family could share a very special and heartbreaking story. On the daytime drama The Bold and the Beautiful, John McCook's character, Eric Forrester, often watches as members of his on-screen family have their lives spin out of control.
I need to hear this news. What's my long-term prognosis?
What few knew until now is that at home, the drama is real. John and his wife Lorette have a son, Jake, who has schizophrenia.
Do you ever feel like your head is on fire? Like just white noise and just horrible? I do.
Lorette's the champion here. She's Jake's champion, but she's the champion for all of us and for this family. So she's the powerhouse. And if she wasn't here, I don't know where we'd be.
I don't know either.
42-year-old Jake was diagnosed 12 years ago and lives at home. Do you remember how you reacted when you first heard that diagnosis?
Yes, I felt scared the first time and relieved at the same time. Relief because the diagnosis was a lot of fear and a lot of paranoia and a lot of anxiety, and not knowing where they came from was pretty confusing.
Before he got sick, Jake was a talented video editor.
I grew up being Jake's lead actress in all the films, and I always looked up to him and his artistic abilities. And I think that, you know, when the illness really came about, when we found out about it, and it kind of took control of us for a moment while we were all learning about it, I think that his abilities were in the shadows a little bit.
Schizophrenia is never talked about. I mean, our family for years, I don't think we spoke about it outside our very close friends and family because people would act so weird.
But now Lorette and Jake are talking about it. They've written a book called The Cliffs of Schizophrenia that details the often harrowing journey they find themselves on.
I suggested it first because I felt he needed something to feel good about himself, something he could accomplish.
It feels pretty good. I'm glad to get this all this information out there.
It's also a pretty courageous thing you've done. Do you feel courageous?
Yesterday I felt courageous. Today I just feel like an idiot.
Well, I'm going with courageous because that's what I see. After 37 years on Bold, John has a lot of friends in the soap opera world, and they're among those cheering Jake on.
And I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
The book describes Jake's battle with booze. He's had to hand back the car keys for good after he tried to drive drunk. And he does his best to describe to readers just what his paranoia feels like. It can even strike at Disneyland.
Within the first 20 minutes, I was paranoid that, you know, some guy playing Darth Vader was talking about me, saying that he wished I was dead.
Jake has also set up an Instagram account to keep the conversation going.
I've seen comments from you guys that have to do with whether or not you're going to take medication, and I gotta tell you that if I weren't taking medication now, I wouldn't be able to talk to you right now.
So when this family, which deals with the realities of schizophrenia every day, heard about the tragic events in Bondi and that the illness was involved, they were heartbroken.
I saw some of the footage, of course, from the event as it happened, and so many people killed and so many people injured by this person, this unfortunate person. That's what keeps the stigma going. We hear about schizophrenia only when it's some awful event. And that's when we hear schizophrenia.
1.5 million people will be diagnosed in the next 12 months around the world. And families are desperate for more government support. But for that to happen, the conversation has to continue. It is such an incredible book, Narelda. This heartfelt telling of what it's really like for this beautiful mother and son who are obviously devoted to one another and the whole family. And it doesn't get talked about enough.
And for them to be sparing a thought for what's happening here in Australia during their time is really lovely.
Absolutely. So the book's called Cliffs of Schizophrenia, and that's also Jake's Instagram handle, at Cliffs of Schizophrenia. And he's posting on there all the time and, you know, inviting people to keep the conversation going.
Thank you very much for bringing us that, Ange.